All right, I'm just going to make a quick video showing you guys, anybody that knows anything about cabinet vision should be able to send code with using this video. So this is just a basic small unfinished residential jobs for Gwen Thomas here. You can see up here. So the first thing you do, if you've got your tabs, just to start from the beginning, you need to select your S2M center tab up here. And then the first thing I would do is go over here and check to the CV ball, click up here in the top left corner, go to preferences here, and for this first step, I see I've got an overlap my cabinets by maximum of 5. Now that's the way I want that setting to be when I'm cutting whatever my core material is. If it's 1/2 inch unfinished birch, 1/2 inch MDF, whatever the interior cabinet of my cabinets is. So I want to have an overlap. That way, on the router, they can cut their batch first, as most of you are familiar with. And when they get into the actual cabinets, they can just be cutting, and it'll cut them in order if you have this overlap on. So select OK there, and try to make this quick as possible. Other things to look at, you want to make sure over here on your left, where it says primary machine, in case it doesn't have this one selected, there are some different machines up here. Most of them don't really do much. You won't never use them as a rule, but there is a use for them, so that's why they're there. But you want to make sure that you have the KOMO, Nest, Sixth Faith machine selected. If not, then you need to go over your drop down and select it. Okay. The other thing I will say is just the overall interface here. Let me go ahead and grow this screen up big. You can organize this stuff by whatever column that you want to organize it by, just by clicking on it. So if I click on cabinet number there, it's 17, and I think it's ascending there. If you click it again, it's descending. I may have that backwards, but anyways. Or you can group them by materials, and that comes in especially handy when you're just doing recuts. If you just need to select a single part, you know what material it is, you know what cabinet number it is, you can use those. All right. So the next thing we do, we utilize a filter right here on the left sidebar, filter parts. And I will go, and what I'm doing, I've got the overlap preference that we did at first is set to 5 and set to overlap. So what we're wanting to cut is our core main interior of our cabinets. So that's a 1/2 inch birch in this case. So I will select that, and I can click OK. And now I just click the optimize button. Actually, one more thing I want to point out right quick, just to back up a little bit. You're almost always going to have parts over in this list that are not going to cut. These countertop surfaces, red icon means that it won't cut, primarily because of the length. Now, never mind that there's no part selected for that. So you can either delete them right up front, or it's going to give you an error message here in a little bit if you don't. And it'll say that it can't optimize all your parts, but that's fine, because you know what? You already looked to see what's cutting and what's not. So now that I clicked that, I lost my filter. And go back in here again and select my 1/2 inch birch. All right, now back to where it's at, click the optimize button. Then we will click run and let it do its thing. And now it's done. It says no errors, no warnings. A lot of times there are warnings that don't mean anything. Almost 98% of the time they don't mean anything. But anyways, so if I'd have left those 2 countertop pieces that had the red icon up here, then I would have an error saying that it couldn't cut at all. But anyways, so click OK at this point. Now we're in where we can view our actual sheets, how it's optimized it. So I click this, and it brings it up here. So I can see this is sheet number 1. Most of the time I kind of scroll through them just to see if anything looks odd, just because, and probably me more than you guys, I'm kind of familiar with what's to look for as far as dados and drilling, but I'll just kind of go through them and see if anything odd. All looking pretty good. Nothing's catched my eye yet. Just go on here to the end. And last sheet. Okay, so the next thing to do, I won't see anything obviously wrong with it. I'll click NC code and labels. Now on your machine, on your computer, this kind of remembers the last path that I went, which is the K, which is the KOMO. But if yours does not look like this, then you need to click right here and you need to browse for the KOMO. Which mine's already pointed there, but if it wasn't, you can see it's over here under the computers, like where the share and all that is. So that's where it's already at. So click OK. And the same for the KOMO parts. Okay. Next thing I do is, if I like it, I just click right here beside it. So I've got a cursor now. And I use these first two numbers, R99. I'll type that in, R99, and then I will add a suffix of the customer's name, which is 01. And the other thing I do is I will copy that, I'll highlight it and do Control C, and I'll click down here, Control V to paste it. And that will be, if I have any arches or anything, it'll put them all in the same folder. So when I click Run, it's generating code right now for the router. All right, I'll click Close. Sometimes right there it'll give you a message saying, I know what it is, something's busy, and you just click retry. So don't freak if it does that, just click the retry, and that's fine. I'll click OK, and then I come over to my print button and select the printer you want. In this case, I'm going to select the QD PDF. Click print, and it will save all that. And I will save that. And that is all for that. Let me go ahead. I'm afraid I'm going a little long here, but back up real quick. Now, if I go here, don't click out here yet. Grab your bar over here and slide down to where all these half-inch materials highlighted. Then I like to right-click on one of those blue, click delete. Now, this is my batch, if you will. So I'll go up here in the corner, click the CV button, go down to preferences, go to the ordering. Now, I don't want it to be overlapped. I want it to be the very best optimization I can get, so I don't care how it orders the cabinets out. I select none, select OK, and then I'll hit optimize, and it goes through the same exact thing. I click run. So I'm not going to go through all that again. I'll spare you the pain. So thank you.